In today's video, we are going to start installing the manual shifter for our MP233 transfer case. Now, journeysoffroad.com, they sent me this Astro van 4x4 conversion kit. What they do is they take the MP233C out of an S10 or Blazer or Sonoma or whatever and convert the encoder motor to a full manual shifting transfer case, and that is what I want to do with this. So I reached out to them and just asked them a couple of questions. They happen to have seen my video on building this transfer case, and so they sent me this kit to see if I could make it work with the S10. But this is the main reason why I wanted this. This is a bracket that will mount to where the encoder motor is and will convert it to a full manual shifter. This is basically the piece. These two are the pieces that I need right here. Anything else I don't really need. Should be able to make this work with these pieces right here. So I went ahead and pulled the center console. I marked the sides so I know, the constraints I'm working in. Hopefully I can get the shifter to mount basically where the you throw garbage down into the center console way up there. Hopefully I can get the shifter to go into there. Right now I have the transmission out, which is where I wanted to be with this. That's why I'm doing this right now, because I have easier access to the bottom of the transmission tunnel. First thing, let's start bolting this up to our transfer case, and then we will go from there. So I stared at the underside and the top of this thing for a few minutes, and really the way to do it is I need to put the transmission and transfer case in, because otherwise I'm just guessing, and I don't want to just guess and then have to redo it. So I got the transmission fully bolted in. It's time to install our Sky Off-Road Design transfer case or transmission Crossmember. This is going to replace our factory ones. It's a high clearance, so we should have plenty of room for our front drive line. That's the hope. And again, I could have made this. It's super simple, a piece of tube, a couple of brackets, but in this case, it was easier and less time consuming based on my time constraint to just buy this one. So I went ahead and bought it, got it all painted up. So let's bolt this up and we will go from there. I figured out that these bolts are way too long because the original transfer case skid plate, transmission skid plate was really thick, and this one is just a piece of 1/4 inch. So these bolts are way too long and they don't have threads. So I tried to bolt it up without even really looking at it, and I hit the bottom of the threads, and then I couldn't get it back off. So finally got it off, and I was able to find these bolts that are shorter that should work perfectly. These were the front housing of the transfer case that I took off that I'm no longer using, so I got a pile of like 6 of these bolts, so these are going to work perfectly. The nuts fit on them, and they have a washer basically built into them, so perfect. These ones don't need any more, so we'll use these. Trying to figure out where we can mount this shifter. Now, there's no flat spots up here. I'm just going to drill a hole in the center and figure out where I am underneath. Here is our shift linkage. This is the front output shaft right here. Our shift linkage is right here. This is our hole right here. So I think we are looking pretty good to making this work. We're going to have to make some modifications to our shifter so it'll have to come out and then bend out sideways. I might have to make 2 bends, but either way, looks like it's gonna work. So when they sent me this kit, they actually sent me, it looks like 2 spare sets of this, like this thing just not put together, just the pieces for it. So I don't think that this comes with the kit. In fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So if you're doing an S10, I would recommend that you request at least this one piece so you have an extra one. So I ended up having to make a top plate right here, just welded the nuts in because these little Allens right here just keep stripping out and it's just a pain in the butt. So I just made this plate out of the extra piece they sent, and it's going to sandwich the sheet metal of the tub in between it, and that will be way stronger than in the Astro van. They just use self-tappers that just go into the body, and I don't think that's going to work in my case. It might, but I don't want to do it that way. They gave me extra plates, so I made this. It's going to sandwich it, make it super strong. And then in here, I actually ended up hammering this thing out with a 5-pound sledge, trying to get it as flat as possible, but once I get all the plates in and then tighten all the bolts, it should cinch it down and make it a little flatter. Okay guys, you can see that we have our plate up here, and it's so dark. This is why I wasn't able to film a lot of it, because you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing anyways. But so I actually don't have all 8 of the bolts, the nuts on here. I have these 3 and then the 2 center ones, and the 3 on the other side are literally right above the transmission on this side. It's very difficult to get to them, but I think that it will be super strong just with all of these. If I have an issue in the future, I can always put them on, but it's very difficult to get to them. So right now we are in 4 low, so the shifter is all the way to the transmission here, and we have clearance. I had to shorten this guy by like about 1 inch to take out of it, and then I cut the bolt side of this to give myself that extra clearance for the transmission right here. But you can see our shift linkage to the transfer case right here, and this is all the bracketry that we installed earlier. So everything is tight and done down here, and it's super solid. All the bends ended up perfect. Everything looks and is operating as I like it to. Let's go up and I'll show you up top. So our knob's gonna fit right up under here in the dash. It's actually not hitting anything. Once I put this dash back together, it won't be touching it. But right here, this is too high, up out of the way, and 4 high, 4 low. And then it doesn't want to go back into 2-wheel drive because I had to go underneath, just turn the output shaft just like a little bit. And now we can pop in the 2 high right there. So I am super happy with how this turned out. We have this thing almost wrapped up. All we gotta do is throw the shift boot on, bolt it down, and then install our center console, cutting out our holes, and then just trying to make it look as good as possible. Overall, this took way more time than I thought it would to get everything to be super strong and stout in order to be able to shift this manually. But overall, I'm super happy with it. Now, this kit came with basically 3 pieces of wiring here. One is a vehicle speed sensor connector. This is going to convert the 233 from the all-wheel drive. This one I don't need because I already have the correct connector and wiring harness, because I didn't change my transfer case. And then the other is, this is a switch that when you go into 4 low, it will send a ground signal with this wire to the 4-wheel drive connector pin on the ECU. So this I will need because in order to use 4 low in drive, the computer no longer knows that it's in 4-wheel drive or in 4 low. So the transmission will either go in limp mode. I don't know exactly what the transmission will do, but I do know that either it'll go in limp mode, it won't work at all, it won't shift. I don't know the exact scenario, but all we need to do is ground the pin in the ECU just to let the computer know that we are in 4 low. So this is our switch right here. And then this wire is grounded to the transfer case. And then this wire is going to go all the way and route up to our PCM, our ground connector. So let's double check. So we are in 4 low right now. So we should have ground continuity between the switch and the frame. So this wire should be grounded right now. So we'll check by checking here and then here. We have continuity here. So let's check the frame. And we got continuity to the frame, which is what we want. So let's put it in for high and see if we have continuity. Nothing. Nothing. So I know our switch is working and grounding this wire. Under the hood here we have, this is our PCM factory location in this 2001 S10. So I already have these disconnected because I was welding on the chassis, so I had them disconnected already. So what we're looking for is this red guy right here, and I used my pocket screwdriver and I just popped this back cover off. And then now what we have to do is we're looking for pin 16, which is right here, and it should be a gray with a black stripe, which it is, so all that matches up. So basically we have to remove this pin in this wire from here and then put the black one that came with the kit that gets grounded out by the switch that we just installed. So we're gonna have to take this little red part off here, and then we can pull the pin out. This is our new pin routed up into the engine bay. So we'll go here and go to 16, which is right here. So this is it, guys. I'm not going to plug this back in because I'm not done welding on the frame. I still have a ton of work to do. There's a little bit extra wire right here that I'll have to clean up, but I have it cleaned up from here all the way to the connector on the transfer case. Okay, guys, that is it. We are completely done with it. There's no way to test it right now. Mechanically, it works. It grounds the PCM. I know that that particular part works. I just don't know because the truck doesn't run right now because nothing's plugged in because I'm still welding on the frame. So as of right now, as soon as I shut this camera off, I am going to be cutting the IFS brackets off. So I will be living in a misery of metal dust. Anyways, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, I am at MuddyBeards4x4. We got shirt stickers, stuff like that. MuddyBeards4x4.com. Discount codes from our sponsors. I'll also leave a link in the description for this Journeys Off-Road 4x4 conversion kit. Until next time, guys, we will see you back here in the garage.